just a friend of Jason's. It's Kenny Leitner, and Kenny is currently in Afghanistan. And this is just reflective of who Jason was. You know, when I sent out the Facebook invite, Jason Jared Hafer's Celebration of Life, it totally sounded like a party Jason would throw for himself. So Kenny just accepted, thinking it was a party Jason was throwing for himself. And I was pretty sure Kenny wasn't aware, so I sent him a side email saying, hey, I'm really glad you can make it. Just want to make sure you know that Jason's not going to be there. And that's when Kenny found out and sent this note, and I wanted to read his note. I came to California not knowing anyone, and when I was introduced to Jason for the first time, he treated me as if he had known me for years. I don't know how to encapsulate all of my memories with a person in a mere few short lines, and I don't know that it's even possible with a person like Jason. But here are a few highlights for me that I know others will also remember. Random eats, like the one he cooked up after a small hike on some trails near Tron's house. Honestly, if it wasn't for the food that was to follow, I would have quit early because no athletic activity he had a hand in planning was small. They may have been in his mind, but they weren't for me. Random fits of fun. Sailing on a nice, respectable boat with respectable people only to be coerced into mooning a randomly passing boat. Or diving into freezing cold water and floating down to the campsite, all while bouncing on your bottom side on the bed of the river and laughing at each other, just to go back and do it again and again and again a few minutes later. That's in reference to our whitewater rafting trip where we just threw ourselves in the river in frigid cold water. Jason, the only one not wearing a wetsuit or anything really. And just laughing and just with glee while we got our butts kicked by the river. And we did it again and again and again. Random encouragement. My first bike ride with the SD Space Dragon family was on a bike that required special shoes, which I didn't have. I was by far the slowest rider, but Jason still stayed with the entire group and me to make sure everyone made it back safely. Paddling with the Space Dragon takes practice and tons of it, and I knew that after just a few practices, but then Jason pointed out the more obvious, it takes patience and not just practice, and he encouraged me not to get discouraged. I know each person will have different highlights for remembering Jason, but the reason I will both remember and miss him the most is because he was so unpredictable, yet refined in everything he did. Rest in peace, my friend. Respectfully, Kenny. In everyone's life, at some time, our inner fire goes out. It is then burst into flame by an encounter with another human being. We should all be thankful for those people who rekindle the inner spirit. Jason, you are an amazing man, and you gave this world a gift. Unfortunately, you had to die for us to appreciate and to be reminded that it is not length of life, but depth of life. You were that guy, the guy who wasn't afraid to laugh, to love, to live outrageously, completely, fully. Life was too important for you to take seriously, and I love you for that. Thank you for always making the time, for opening your heart, for your unconditional love and loyalty. And I thought I was all teared out, and I'm sorry. I want to finish with a funny story because that's what Jason would have wanted. He was always, always, always there for me, for you, for anyone who needed that time, that space, that comfort, that moment. My hero, truly. I was sitting, we were living together as roommates, and David was with us, I remember, and Kenny was over, and all the guys are sitting on the couch watching a stupid movie, probably Team America, Jason's. By the way, our wireless password was Team America, because that's what Jason wanted. But they're sitting there watching a movie, and I have a very keen sense of smell, like a bloodhound, and I'm standing there, I'm doing laundry, and I'm like, I smell smoke. Guys, I smell smoke. Pretty sure I smell smoke. They're like, oh, it's nothing, it's just your crazy sense of smell. What did you know? And they're still sitting there laughing. I pull open the dryer door, I see flames. I'm like, fire! Literally, like, while Kenny was still seated, David still processing, Jason, in a split second, bolted to the dryer, unplugged it, dragged it out by himself, through the washroom, through the garage, and into our ghetto driveway, and just plopped the dryer down, and it caught on fire. It was awesome. And here comes David from the backyard with the hose, and it reaches to about here, and the dryer's over there. So in my moment of panic and seriousness, Jason was able to rescue me, to rescue us, and it was still very funny. Thank you for being a part of our life, Jason. We will never forget you. And I close with gratitude to each and every one of you. Much love, much peace, and much happiness. And I think we're going to loop and play the video again for those of you who missed it. Please, please, please introduce yourselves to one another. We all have a common bond. And smile, and take a look at Jason's awards and photos. Have a great day.